We're going to start this short move sesh with a shoulder rollout. If you have a tennis ball, that's fine. Maybe a lacrosse ball, but it's going to be kind of intense. This is a dog chewed foam situation. It still works. It's called a trigger point ball, and it's very similar squishiness wise to a tennis ball. Okay, so I'm going to take it with me. I'm coming to the mat down on my back to roll up my shoulders because they feel really tight this morning, and I don't necessarily want to push through a bunch of exercises with really tight shoulders. It doesn't sound like the right thing for me to do. So you can join me. I have already moved my mat out of the way. My mat is just on the floor over here. And I'm going to take my ball and come down to the floor. And the ball is going to come under one of my shoulders. I'm going to start on the right side. If there's anything that you need to do to make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable, like putting a towel under your head or a small pillow, I think that this should be kind of intuitive. Whatever you need to do to make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable while you roll your shoulders out, do that, okay? So I'm just gonna start with my knees bent. My left hand is supporting my head and the ball is under my shoulder. This is already really intense for me. But I'm going to bring my right arm up and I'm going to start to, oh my gosh, move my arm back and forth. Oh, this is like super intense. Just a reminder that after we do this, we should drink water. So at this point, I'm just going to really do what feels like I can even handle it. Oh, I'm bending my arm, I'm moving my arm around. I'm trying to relax through the rest of the body. Please do not hold your breath. Okay, I would love for you to take some really deep breaths. At some point, you're gonna maybe wanna move the ball. I'm gonna go down a little bit further. I'm kind of in between my spine and my shoulder blade right now. Oh my gosh. And just a quick note there, I don't want you to put the ball directly on your spine. You should always be like in a muscle area. And also, if you think you have like a torn muscle or any real acute pain like that, please don't do this. Okay, I don't want you to roll into something that is like potentially a tear or some sort of acute situation. I moved the ball down a little bit more, so I'm really underneath my shoulder blade. And I'm clearly just moving my arm here. Ooh, my goodness. My goodness. Relax your face. I'm just making these big circles. And I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to move up a little higher again towards the top. Come back. I'm doing the best I can to try and relax my face, my jaw, my forehead, because this is really, it's pretty painful. I definitely need to do this more. If there is kind of a trigger point or a place that feels like you should just kind of hold the position until the tension starts to release a little bit more, go ahead and do that. I'm just kind of, rolling back, moving my whole body to, oh my gosh, this is terrible. to kind of try and release some of these muscles along the shoulder blade. Okay. This is probably enough on that side. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna go and do the other side now. So I'm gonna support my head with my opposite hand. Like I said, you can just put like a towel underneath your head or even a very small pillow. I don't want your head elevated too much. And we'll see how this side goes. So immediately this side is not as crazy intense as the other side. But this is still nothing I would consider fun. Like this is not an activity that I'm excited to do again, even though I think this is valuable and I should be doing it more. Move the arm around. I am just continuing to adjust myself on the ball to get like a really sort of holistic massage around the shoulder blade. I think some of you may want to just keep your arms still and move yourself on the ball. This is something that you can kind of make up your own rules to. But like I said, please don't roll into any super acute pain because I certainly don't want you to roll out an injury. And if there's a place that feels extra tight or like it deserves a few deep breaths, just kind of get to that position and hold and breathe. All right, wow. Okay, I'm gonna take this ball. That was crazy. Okay, I already feel though relief from what I was feeling before I started. I'm gonna put the ball down. Just check in there. I'm gonna come onto the hands and knees. If you wanna grab a mat or anything else you need, you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come onto my mat. Okay, and now I want all this to move around a little bit. So let's say hands under shoulders, knees right under the hips. And let's get some mobility happening through the spine. Head release, push through the palms a little bit, breathe. And then arch, look forward and round. And again. This kind of a movement is so important just to, I don't know, there's something about it that's good for my brain. I feel like I can breathe a deeper breath after I've gone through this kind of stuff. I'm also, we just did flexion and extension, rounding and arching. Now I want to go side to side. So you can kind of keep your spine where it is and then look to the side towards your tush or your foot. One more each way. And now I'm going to kind of incorporate both of these movements. So I'm going to round and then look to the side, roll through all the way, come to the other side. So I'm kind of rounding, going from one side to another as I go into an arched position. It's like almost like a big circle. And then I want to go the other way too. And then maybe one more of these. Make sure you're breathing. And then back to the center. And now I'm going to add a little bit of rotation to the spine. I'm going to widen my knees. Bring one hand central as I lift the opposite elbow. And switch. Super deep breaths here. One more each way. And then back down. And just for a moment, let's give the feet a little bit of a stretch. So curl your feet forward. And I'm just going to lower down to my forearms and let my head relax. Make any changes you need to make. I'm going to bring my heels in towards one another and away from one another and in towards one another and away from one another. One more each way. Let your head release here. And then bring the heels in towards one another. Relax your head. One more breath here. And I'm going to come away from the floor and curl the toes. I'm going to walk my hands forward a bit. So now I'm like one hand's distance forward. And this is a little bit of like a child's pose rock. I feel like I know a lot of people and a lot of my clients, they're commenting recently on just how their body feels older than it is. And I feel like what I'm hearing is that stuff hurts and it feels like just tight and immobile. I think we often really forget how important mobility is until we start to lose mobility. I'm going to do a couple more here. And just to be really clear, if your range of motion isn't like mine, make it smaller. If your range of motion is more dynamic than mine, great. You do you. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to come back and just take a minute off of my wrists. Take a break if your wrists tell you to. Okay. I'm going to flip over onto my back. Again, and just kind of roll back. Let's start on the right side. And two options here. You can lengthen out your bottom arm and rest your head down. If this is for some reason uncomfortable for your bottom shoulder, you can also just bring your arm forward and rest your head on a pillow or something like a towel. I don't want your head up here though. I would love your head to be in a place where it seems like your cervical spine can be long and not sort of cramped and in a weird position, okay? So bring your head, find that for yourself. And then we're gonna bring the top arm forward, and when you bring the top arm forward, you're gonna slide the arm forward until maybe your head is down on the mat, or it just feels like you can really slide your arm forward and let the shoulder blade sort of slide out of the socket. And then you'll come back. I'm bringing my head to the ground, and then I'm coming all the way out with the arm, okay? And then I'm gonna do that again a few more times. So it becomes also about mobility through now the thoracic spine. We essentially just did the same movement on our hands and knees when you were lifting your elbow. We're going to do this one more time. But this time, I'm going to make sure that my boobs don't fall on my shirt. As I bring my left arm over, I'm going to bend, and I'm going to keep this bent elbow shape. So as I twist, it becomes a very deep stretch for me through the chest, through the spine, all the way through my left hip. We need to breathe here. If you want to increase the stretch, you can straighten out your bottom leg and more deeply bend your top leg. That will increase the twist. One more deep breath here. And I'm gonna roll it over. That's just a really deep stretch for me. Any of you that have disc issues, please be careful with twisting. Twisting can be contraindicated for some disc issues, like herniated discs and bulging discs and whatever else that you have going on. So please be careful with your twisting based on what your circumstances are, okay? So let's come over to the other side. I'm just gonna tuck my shirt in so this is not suddenly porn. We'll come on to the left. Okay, so again, adjust how you are based on what your body is telling you. And then slide the top arm forward and reach it back. So I'll do one more here. Notice how you're breathing. There's, of course, no one way to breathe, but I just don't want you holding your breath. So now again, I'm going to bend my arm, and as I bring it out to the right, it's going to maintain the bend. It's kind of, I call this either a goalpost shape or a cactus. Eyes right, elbow right, knees left. To increase the twist and the stretch, straighten your bottom leg and more deeply bend your top leg. Breathe. One more breath here. Okay. Come all the way up to sit. Let's do a hip stretch here. So in my Pilates training, this is based on an exercise called Mermaid. I'm going to bring my legs back over to the other side. There's two options here. Those of you that are super flexible in your hips, and this feels kind of, like it makes sense for you, you can stack your feet, stack your knees, bring your left hand around your ankles and sit up nice and tall. If you can be in this position, stay there. And if you're like, nope, separate your legs so your right foot is against your left thigh and your left ankle is out here on the side. So immediately I feel a stretch in through this left hip, and I'm going to take my left hand and just put it like right in the crease of my hip, and I'm going to do whatever I can with this right hand. I think I'm just going to rest it next to me. So let's work on this left hip stretch by, I'm shifting my hand out into my weight out into my right hand. I'm lifting my left hip, and when I bring it back down, I'm going to take my left hand and just apply a little bit of gentle pressure to increase the stretch in the left hip. Lift your hip into your hand, bring your tushy back down, and just apply some pressure downward. And just be careful here. Our hips get just super tight. Be gentle. Let's do one more. Inhale. And then exhale. And so now I'm going to try and sit up nice and tall, and I'm going to take my left hand, come out to my left ankle, and try to get myself central and upright through my spine. Those of you with a tight hip out here, it's going to be really hard for you to feel like you can sit up straight. Right arm up. Relax the left shoulder and bend your left elbow as you stretch over. And then come back up again. And try it again. This time, as we come over, relax that left shoulder, rotate down, and kind of look at your left hand. Reach through your right fingertips. Breathe. Inhale back up. And we'll try it again. And then just a quick counter stretch. Right hand down, left arm over. And then come on back, switching over to the other side. So we started with the hand in the crease of the hip. Yeah, those of you that can do this, it kind of means that you're skipping that whole situation that I just did. If you can easily come into this position and sit up nice and straight, then you can just wait there. But so few people can. So again, I'm going to bring my right hand out here. I'm going to rest down into my left hand, lift my right hip into my right hand, and then gently apply some pressure as I bring myself back. And lift. Relax the shoulders. And again, just a reminder here, mobility doesn't happen because you do stretches one day for a half an hour. We have to just keep doing this, and it doesn't even all have to happen all at once. If you do 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there, slowly some of this stuff starts to loosen up, which is nice. And that's definitely the truth. You have to be kind of consistent with this stuff. Right hand is coming out to the right ankle. Relax the right shoulder, left arm comes up. As I stretch over, I'm kind of relaxing through my right side. Inhale, come back up. And we'll add some rotation as you stretch over, rotate and reach. Look down towards the right hand. Relax your head a little bit. Inhale, back up. And big, reachy stretch here. And then just a little counter move, left hand down, right arm over. And come on back. I'm going to come up to stand through a down dog. You can join me. Hands under shoulders, and then Bring yourself out into that position. Try and let your shoulders slide away from your ears. Make any changes that you need to make. Let your head be heavy. Let's bend one knee as you lengthen through the opposite leg. And switch. And switch. One more each way here. And then reach back with your hips, let your head hang down. Let's inhale, come to a plank. And then exhale, return. And plank. One more. And I'm going to walk my hands and my feet in towards one another until I can kind of transfer my weight into my feet. And I'm going to try and release my head, hands to elbows, soften the knees. Head is heavy. One more of these deep breaths. And then I'm going to release my arms, bend my knees a little more, push through the feet. Slowly roll up, all the way up to stand. One more thing for the road here. Come closer to a wall or a door, something that you can put your hand into. And stand just about one arm's distance away, but with your fingertips facing back. Relax the shoulder. Immediately, this is a very deep situation for my hand, my forearm, all the way up into my shoulder. And I'm gonna add to this, opposite arm goes out with the fingertips back, and then I'll rotate away from the wall. Trying to breathe, letting my shoulders try and relax a little bit. We'll do that 2 more times. Return and twist. And return and twist. One more. And then come back. Side 2. Left arm out or opposite arm out. Fingertips reaching back. Try and relax that left shoulder. And then you bring the opposite arm out. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. Two more. Find that long exhale here. Last time. And relax those arms. My goodness. So let's just end with a breath here. You can bring your hands to your waist. Very likely we'll spend the rest of the day breathing into our shoulders. So let's see if we can take a couple deep breaths, like lateral breaths into our waist. It's always really hard for me. Try and relax the shoulders. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, like you're not gonna fall over, go ahead and do that. Breathe into your hands. And then exhale As you exhale, fully exhale, see if you can relax your shoulders and draw your abdominals in as you follow the exhale out completely. And we'll do this 2 more times. Inhale into your hands. Relax the shoulders, grow a little taller. 1 more. Stand tall, let your arms hang, and we did it, you guys. All right.